Hey there, folks. All right, I want to make you guys this video about capital flight and making capital flight eventually punishable by death in America. Now, you have all these areas of existence in the world that supports white supremacy. And the apex of it, the crux of it all, can be considered ideological, but one of the biggest focus of it is economics, economic eugenics. That's to create class structures and class tiers that remain in the elite control forever. And they got that from the ancient system of the Brahmins in India, where the Brahmins had developed a system where they can continually reincarnate into the same class. But just like white people do, they misinterpret everything and they then pervert it when it comes to the spirit, because as a group, not all of them, but as a group, they're not connected to the spirit for real. They're connected to psychic energy, artificial intelligence, psychic energy, and archonic, demonic energy. So capital flight is the process where major corporations or very, very super wealthy individuals that made their money sitting on the board of major corporations and stuff like that become multi-billionaires and trillionaires. And they do it off the backs of course, the country that they came from. They do it off the backs of that the majority of the time, especially in America, because in America we have a welfare system, and that welfare system serves the corporations. So the corporations get the tax dollars to do research and development on the university campuses. They'll build a school or whatever. Then they'll give scholarships out, or they'll charge an exorbitant amount of money for students to go to that college. And then they'll take and use all the development from all the findings, all the research, all the innovations that are developed in that school that they built, and then they'll shunt that information to the corporation, and then they'll profit off of it. And the students wind up, some of them, they wind up being, they just pay them off, so they wind up pretty well off. But the corporations just really technically made their money off of public funds. And that's why they're trying to privatize everything, so they can say, everything's private, the entire loop is private. But when you do your research, you'll see that all the major corporations, the big corporations, DuPont and Coke Industries and the Fortune 500, that the majority of the corporations, once you start to analyze the tentacles of it, you'll find out that the majority of them, because America being the richest, most powerful country ever in the history of the planet, you'll see that they made their money originally from coming over here, killing all the Indians, enslaving 4 million African people, taking a lot of the indigenous people that were already here who are what are called black or Negro, and actually sending them over to Africa and never reporting that. See, they were actually sending people both ways, see. But the second part you don't know about, see, because America was founded by Freemasons. All of them, 50 of the 54 signatories of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. Only one was known not to be. So see, their activities kept secret, and they try to keep it so that America completely serves whenever things kind of get out of hand. They can always go back to the Constitution, the Constitution, the Constitution. And what did the Constitution serve ultimately? It served the landowners. And who were the landowners? White males wearing makeup, wigs, panties, dresses, and high heel shoes and shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's a form of derangement. You see what I'm saying? They were smart, there's no doubt about it. And they tried to set it up so that eventually it could probably be fair for people. So we're going to call them on that, see, now. Okay, so now what the elites did when they elected Donald Trump as president, they set themselves up for failure, because one of the first things Trump did when he got to be president is he did away with the estate tax. So that means that when a really, really rich person dies, like Warren Buffett, and say he's got $80 billion, all $80 billion goes to his kids. See what I'm saying? Instead of $40 billion going to the state, which it should, because he made all his money here. See what I'm saying? Or he made all his money off the backs of basically Americans. You'll hear this argument. Oh no, I went overseas and I did these investments. You started here, motherfucker. Okay. Now you remember a few years ago, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, he executed one of his uncles. If you remember that. And why did he execute him? He executed him for capital flight. In other words, he made millions and billions of dollars there in North Korea, but then he wants to extricate and remove all that money from the North Korean economy, in other words, so that it can be used for social programs, because North Korea is somewhat, even though it's a dictatorship, it's somewhat socialized, see? So they executed him. And in many Asian countries, capital flight is executable. In other words, it's punishable by death. So what Donald Trump did is he set up all the elite kids in the future to be executed, because in the future, we'll do away with Citizens United, which makes a corporation, gives a corporation the rights of person and the rights to free speech. We'll do away with that. And we'll also do away with the estate tax, and with no estate tax. And we'll go back to the estate tax. So that the elite try to train their children to be like them, white supremacists, and maintain the power and keep it in the family and be clannish and be more clever than everybody else, out strategy everyone. Well, see, the problem is you can't out strategy the earth, and the earth knows that white supremacists will blow her up if they can't control everything. So white people are not really from the earth. So what will happen is that what's going on now is the earth is in the middle of killing the white people. But the white people they blame other factors on it. But if you notice that what's going on is natural. They're not reproducing at the same rate. Disease is killing them. And then so many of them are addicted to opioid drugs, and then they commit suicide. Like white males, in America, the number one suicide group is white males. So if you don't have any men, you can't reproduce your race. So that's why all the white women are going to black males. And so the mind control system, the elites, the quote unquote Illuminatis, are trying to eliminate the black male as much as possible and get him out of America as much as possible to equalize that factor. But it ain't gonna work, because women gonna fuck who they wanna fuck. You see what I'm saying? And there ain't nothing you're gonna do about it. You can try your best, you can even try to legislate it, but it ain't really gonna work, because in the end, they're gonna sleep with whoever they want to. See? So, and that's gonna produce the golden race. And the golden race, of course, is what saves the planet. And the golden race, the reason why, like, for instance, Jesus was a member of the golden race. You see what I'm saying? Which is why he was able to cure white people of being evil. That was the whole reason Jesus lived, was to cure white people of being evil. And he was able to do it. And then what's interesting about that, what people don't know, is if you really read Carl Jung, and you really study Carl Jung said, that's the Swiss psychiatrist, who's the greatest psychiatrist that ever lived, no doubt about it. And he said that he's an incarnation of Jesus Christ. He said that if you read his more arcane works. And that's true, because he was the only psychiatrist that was ever able to cure white people of being evil. Sigmund Freud wasn't shit. Carl Jung was the man. He could cure white people of being evil. And he said that they were angry, fragmented, and perverted on the inside, and he couldn't fix them. So he went to Africa and learned from the indigenous elders there, and then he went to the Southwest United States and learned from the indigenous elders of the Nahuatl-speaking Indian tribes how to cure white people of being evil, and it worked. Okay, so Donald Trump set up all the elite children to be executed in the future, and the elites don't even realize that, but that's exactly what he did. He set them up to be executed. So it's kind of sad, because they just don't realize it. You see, so because in the future, when it's illegal to do capital flight, they're gonna try to do the same thing that their parents did. Now one of the things is life is always a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. So the white supremacists might have been super strong here, but then it was watered down. Then it might have been strong here, then it was watered down. Then it might have been strong here, then it was watered down. So their children won't be the next generation, and the next generation won't be like them. They won't have the exact same focus. They won't have the exact same, dynamics as the white supremacists that reign now, because white supremacists pride themselves on continuing the white system of white supremacy in all the areas of life, like economics, education, war, sex, everything social, everything economic, and everything educational. They try to dominate all the areas, and some of their areas of domination are slipping, and so they tried to set it up so that the wealth can't be taken from their children. But eventually, when they're gone, a generation from now or whatever, because we live in America, we'll overturn the Citizens United, which makes a corporation a person, and we'll overturn the estate tax. So when those children who are trying to do what their parents taught them how to do, which is, run over to this country and set up manufacturing over there, get away, the laws will be like this. You made the money here, so the money's going to stay here. You're not taking it offshore, putting it in any accounts or anything like that. You're not taking it anywhere. If you take it anywhere, you just got to leave this much of it here, which would be like 75, 80, 90% of it. And if you do try to leave and you get caught, capital flight, you're going to get executed. See? And that's why you see them trying to set up the military everywhere in the world, because they know eventually that America will be completely dominated by non-whites. So they're trying to set it up so that they can be all over the world, and when it flips in America and non-whites control the U.S. military, they'll be able to attack the U.S. military. They'll be able to attack us from other places. All the 1,100 bases that they've got around the world. They'll set those up. They'll try to fortify those, and they'll try to weaken it over here. But ain't none of it going to work. Okay. So they set it up to have their children executed. Capital flight. Now, Donald Trump might be, and probably I hope he is, Donald Trump might be the first U.S. president to ever be incarcerated, convicted, and perhaps even executed for crimes against humanity, like with Puerto Rico and the children, the migrant children that he keeps incarcerating and then separating them from their parents, and then trying to make 3-year-olds defend themselves in court. That's fucking crazy. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to the point where things are about to change so much, that the earth's about to change so much, what happens is that people just start to go crazy. Okay, and you can tell that by if you just observe women. They're just fucking nuts. And there's a saying that goes, if you want to know what's really going on, just observe the women. And human women have gone fucking off their fucking rockers, if you notice. They're just insane. Fucking just out there. You know what I mean? So, it's positive because it's an indicative of what's going on, that there's so many changes going on at once, so many cycles converging at once. That, you know, because the elites, they thrive on chaos, and they want order out of chaos. See what I'm saying? They're gonna get some order out of chaos though. But the problem is for them is that the order is gonna be imposed on them. See, because this planet is not a white planet. White people are invaders to this planet. They came from Mars at 242,000 BCE. So they're not indigenous to the planet. So there's a reason for white supremacy. White supremacy was allowed to happen so that the white people would create so much karma for themselves that they can never overcome it. And they did. But you'll hear white people say, oh, we give so much money away in our foundations. We're such good people. We have this foundation and that foundation. We help the poor. We help the homeless. And it's all bullshit. Because a white supremacist could end poverty and hunger and income disparity overnight if they wanted to. Don't ever believe it. They could end it overnight. They could end it in like 15 minutes. See what I'm saying? So all that bullshit you hear, they might pay you off, you know, take the money. Fuck it. I'm just saying, but all that bullshit, it's over for it. Because we're to the point to where the earth's either going to make it or it's not going to make it, see. And it's going to make it because it just will. So I'm saying, this is a red, black, brown, and yellow planet. So they came here, they're as invaders, and they totally instituted white supremacy about 12,500 years ago, 12,500 BC. And then so it's played out for the last 13,000, 14,000 years. But that's it. It's at the beginning of the end, and that's the reason why it's going through so many throes of pain right now, so many throes of just, you see, I mean, the craziest shit. Alternative facts. Blue is brown, red is yellow, you know what I mean? And that's how you know that the jig is up. So they're going to try to, oh, well, we'll just enslave everybody, or we'll blow the planet up and we'll all move to Mars, or we'll blow the planet up and we'll all move into the underground cities or whatever. You see what I'm saying? And they got all these movies from the past where they show that shit, you know, Logan's Run and whatever else the fuck, you know, they made up back then or whatever. And that's all a possibility and probabilities. But Barack Obama came along, and they don't know what Barack Obama did. Barack Obama did something that defeated white supremacy. They have no idea what it is. And that's the reason why they had to hurry up and cheat and stall Donald Trump to overturn everything Barack Obama did to try to figure out, what the fuck did this nigger do? They can't figure it out. So you got one man that's smarter than all of the white supremacist crackers. All of them put together. One golden man. Ain't that a bitch? That's fucking phenomenal. So in the future, we're going to make a system up. And one of the things, everybody that watches me make videos, they already know that I'm the originator of all the videos on YouTube. They know that I'm the motherfucker